everyone, this is Sawyer back again. Insert a witty intro here. And today, we're going to be going over the topic that I promised you in the last video. How to get your own fursuit. Let's get right into it. Step 1 is identifying a realistic budget. Budgeting can be a super helpful skill, not only for buying a fursuit, but for many aspects of your life. Identifying a realistic budget means adding up all the costs of your necessities. Necessities being things like rent, bills, food, etc. Then, you subtract the amount of money that your necessities are going to cost from the overall amount of the money that you have. What's left over is your disposable income. That disposable income becomes fair game for buying a fursuit. I'm sorry to say that math is probably going to be required for this process, so now that you have an idea of exactly how much disposable income that you have, you need to decide how much of that income do you want to spend on a fursuit. This could mean cutting out unnecessary spending, things like going out to eat and seeing movies. Although deciding how much you want to spend may not seem like a super complicated issue, there are a couple questions that you need to ask yourself before you decide on your fursuit budget. The first question that you should ask yourself is, what kind of fursuit do you want? I'm talking head, partial, full suit, etc. For first-time fursuit owners, I always suggest just going with a head or a mini partial. That way, if you decide that you don't even like to fursuit, you haven't sunken all that money into a high-ticket price that is a full fursuit. The second question that you need to ask yourself is, do you want a custom-made fursuit of your character, or are you okay buying a pre-made? If you're dead set on having a custom fursuit made for you, that might raise your budget by quite a significant amount. You definitely can find makers that aren't super expensive, but a lower price tag often means a sacrifice in the quality of your suit. Getting a commission also takes a significant amount of time. If you're not willing to wait months, or in some cases years, then a pre-made might be the way to go. This problem is tenfold if you decide that you want to commission a well-known fursuit maker. I would suggest setting aside at least $400 to $700 for your fursuit. You can definitely find fursuits for much less than that, but again, it's a matter of what quality you're looking for. Just a quick side note, your budget needs to come from a reliable source of income, aka a job. Unless you already have all the money that you're planning to spend on your fursuit, don't count on unreliable forms of income. Things such as birthday or Christmas money. Step 2 is finding a fursuit or a fursuit maker that you like. Furbuy and Dealer's Den are both great websites for finding pre-made suits. If you don't find anything that you like at first glance, check back regularly as stuff is going up for auction all the time. Places that I definitely wouldn't use to find fursuits are things like eBay and especially DHgate. However, if you are going to bid on a fursuit, pay special attention to when the auction ends so that you can have time to place your bid before the suit is sold. But a great place to find fursuit pre-mades and makers is Facebook. Surprisingly, there are a lot of fursuit-related groups on Facebook. There are a couple sale groups that I'm personally a part of, and I'll link them down below. I actually got Sawyer from one of these Facebook sale groups. Other social medias can be just as good for buying fursuits, but I only really have experience with the ones that I mentioned. Step 3 is contacting the fursuit seller or maker. So you've found a fursuit or a maker that you like, now you need to take action. If you're using an auction site, simply place a bid. But if you're buying or commissioning a fursuit from a private seller, there are a few rules of etiquette to follow. Make sure that you are polite and professional with all your questions and comments about the fursuit. Here's a quick example of an opening message that I might send to someone who's selling a suit that I would like to buy. Hello, is this suit still available? If so, may I see some more pictures and ask you some questions when you have the time? Thanks! Sellers are much more willing to answer your questions and send you more pictures when you're friendly and polite. Quick disclaimer, a little bit of price haggling is okay and sometimes can be part of the fursuit buying process. However, make sure not to lowball the seller. Lowballing means intentionally offering a lot less money than the fursuit is worth. If you make your offer and the seller says no, it's no big deal. Just respect that and move on. There are plenty of fursuits on the market. Now, we all know, fursuits are expensive, and this is where payment plans can come into play. Most makers have different policies when it comes to payment plans, so definitely ask a maker if you're getting a commission about their policy on payment plans. Make sure that your proposed payment plan is already mapped out before you ask the seller about it. For example, instead of just asking, "Do you take payment plans?" ask something like this. Would you be okay with a payment plan of $100 a month for 3 weeks, starting today and ending May 10th? Having a thought-out payment plan makes you seem a lot more professional and, most importantly, trustworthy. It's very important to be ready to start your payment plan on the day that you contact the seller. Step 4. Sending payment and avoiding scams. Now that you've come up with a price and a payment plan, figure out how you're going to pay and how you're going to avoid getting scammed. Here are a few tips. If you find a very high quality fursuit going for a super low price, it's usually a scam. Just too good to be true. If you're buying a fursuit from a social media site and the seller's profile is mostly blank, I would be wary. Make a post to ask anyone if they know if the seller is trustworthy. Beware groups can be really great for this reason. If the seller takes your payment and then stops replying to you for at least a week, you're probably caught up in a scam. However, if you're buying from an established maker with a large following, scams are usually unlikely. People that make fursuits as a career don't have time to check their social medias and respond to everyone every single day. Established makers are also way less likely to scam people because if they did, their reputation and their business is on the line. In the event that you're caught up in a scam, the way that you paid the maker becomes super important. First rule of thumb, never ever send cash or checks through the mail. Most furries use PayPal, and so do I. The best way to use PayPal is to have the maker send you an invoice. If you suspect that you've been caught up in a scam and have already sent money through PayPal, contact PayPal immediately. When you file a case with PayPal, they'll ask you for a short synopsis of the situation. PayPal is usually pretty good about these issues, and I've had to deal with them a couple times myself. It's always been a positive experience for me. If you think that you're involved in a scam, do not wait to file a case with PayPal. If you wait longer than 180 days after sending a payment through PayPal, you can't get a refund no matter what. If you're having trouble with the maker that you've commissioned, telling you over and over and over again to wait for progress on your suit, be very wary. They might just be trying to get you to run out your 180 days so they can run away with your money. Step 5 is simply getting your suit. So you've paid for your fursuit in full and hopefully you've avoided a scam. You're almost home free. Your seller is off to ship your suit, but before they do, make sure that you ask them for a picture of the addressed box. This way you can be totally sure that the address on the box is correct. This is especially important if the seller is sending your suit from outside of the country that you live in. Finally, it'll come time for you to pay your seller for shipping your suit. If it's gotten to this point, you've probably already eliminated a scam, but an extra safety measure that I like to take is I ask the seller to please send the fursuit on their own dime and send me a picture of the tracking number from the receipt they received from USPS or however they sent it. Once I've confirmed that the tracking number is indeed legitimate, then I send the seller the money that I owe them for shipping. Some sellers may not be okay with this, and that's totally fine. This is just an extra precaution that I personally like to take. You'll be able to see where your fursuit is in its shipping journey and when it will potentially arrive by using the tracking number that the seller provides you with. So hopefully now, after following these steps, you'll have your suit. So this was quite a long one, but I think it's really important to put all this information out there for new fursuit buyers. Buying your first fursuit online can be extremely tricky and especially nerve-wracking. So hopefully this video helped at least one of you guys out. In my next video, I should be unboxing a fursuit head that I bought using this exact strategy. So as usual, if you guys have comments, questions, or death threats, feel free to post them down below or email me at sawyersaber@gmail.com. Anyway, later losers!